Welcome to the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio. We've got a fast-paced hour of fishing, hunting, and conservation covering the nation and the Northwest, including 13 extra minutes of local content you'll only hear on Seattle's Sports Radio 950 KJR.
You know what that means. That's right. Turkey hunting season starts Monday morning, and I hope you've done your preseason scouting, have your gear prepped, and are ready to go bag a spring gobbler. This week on the show, we are checking in with Tom Burlingame again with XL Fishing Charters. He'll be with us at the bottom of the hour with a Neah Bay bottom fish and Seiku salmon fishing report. Bob Loomis returns at the end of the program for another extended Max Minute to talk about a great lure to use for that Lowland Lakes trout opener on April 27th. As a matter of fact, it's the lure that started it all 50 years ago for Mack's Lure Company. But before we chat with Bob and Tom, we need to tell you, as we do every week, what's hot here in the Pacific Northwest, brought to you by your local Puget Sound area Sportsmans Warehouse stores located in Everett, in Silverdale, in Federal Way, and Puyallup, who all had great turnouts for ladies' nights on April 11th and are having spring sales going on right now. We'll start off at Beaver Lake in King County, where a couple of posters at NorthwestFishingReports.com had good success last weekend, catching and releasing both recently stocked and holdover rainbows. The hot lure for both was the same, a trout magnet. Speaking of trout, if you like a little competition to go with your trout fishing, head to Offutt Lake in Thurston County between the 26th and the 28th. That's when Offutt Lake Resort will be hosting a trout derby. The entry fee is $10. I don't know what the prizes are, but considering the fact they've been hosting this derby for 20 years, they must be worthwhile. Whether you go for the day or stay the weekend, it should be a lot of fun. You can contact the resort or book a stay through their website at OffuttLakeResort.com. Another hot spot, at least for largemouth bass, are the sand dunes area at the north end of Potholes Reservoir. That's the word from Pete Fisher at Mardon Resort, who says the bite turned on last week for anglers pitching jigs and casting both spinnerbaits and chatterbaits. The largest fish weighed in last week, a 6.9-pounder, which was released. This should make for an interesting Northwest Bass Tournament event that's taking place at the reservoir this weekend. If you want to tie into a steelhead on the Olympic Peninsula, you better hurry. Fishing closes April 15th on the Hoh River and April 30th on the other main rivers. And you're already too late if you wanted to fish for winter blackmouth in marine areas 8-1 and 8-2 in the North Sound. That's because they both closed for salmon fishing on Thursday after quotas for blackmouth were met there. Turning to hunting, if you were one of the 509 hunters lucky enough to draw a permit, spring bear hunting opened up in Northeast Washington on April 1st and opens up in select game management units in Southeast Washington the 15th. The folks at WDFW suggest using Google Maps to scout for open hillsides and meadows with lots of grass and vegetation where bears should be found at this time of year. Speaking of permits, a reminder that April 22nd is the day you can put in for special hunt permit applications for everything from quality deer and elk hunts to fall turkey to once-in-a-lifetime draws for bighorn sheep, moose, or mountain goat. And with that, now you know what's hot and what's not here in the Pacific Northwest.
That's your first local shot of the outdoors. Now let's see what's going on across the nation. Sportsmans Warehouse is America's premier outfitter, and with over 90 locations, you're sure to find a store near you full of the gear you need to succeed this hunting season. Firearms, ammo, archery equipment, decoys, clothing, boots, and more. You'll find it all at Sportsmans Warehouse. Better still, the knowledgeable staff can help you with tips and frequent in-store seminars, all designed to help you bag a trophy or a limit this hunting season. Find a location near you or shop online today at sportsmanswarehouse.com.
NorthwestFishingReports.com is the Northwest's largest fishing reports website, featuring well over 50,000 fishing reports, videos, articles, and more. All 100% free. Catch more fish with Northwest Fishing Reports. Log on today.
Ready for more local fishing and hunting? You got it. It's the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio, right here on Seattle's Sports Radio 950 KJR.
It's time to check in with Tom Burlingame, the owner of XL Fishing Charters. He's been fishing for salmon off of Seiku and bottom fish out of Neah Bay. Tom, great to have you on the show.
Well, thanks for having me, John.
So let's start off with kind of a season-ending summary of that Seiku salmon fishery. I know it's not quite over yet, but you've moved on. What did you think of this year's season?
It was a great season, John. We caught fish every day down there. I think I had my best catch ratio. I keep track of that year to year, and I had my best catch ratio for the last couple of years. It was good fishing.
That season continues through the end of April, doesn't it?
Yes, that's right. It continues through the end of April. I haven't been down there this week. I've been doing lingcod and rockfish, but the reports I have says that it's still good. So if somebody has a boat and they want to come up, it's still good fishing at Seiku.
All right, let's turn our attention to those lingcod and rockfish you've been after. Understand that's been pretty lights out too.
It has. It's been automatic limits. The only limiting factors we've had since the lingcod opened in March is weather, and this time of year we have to deal with that.
Well, another limiting factor you've had in the past is the fact you've only had one boat, but big news, you've added a second boat to your fleet. You've now got double the capacity.
Yeah, you bet. Not quite double the capacity because it's going to be running on a limited schedule, but I've been wanting to do this for several years. I just haven't found the right person to run it, and now I have Joe Peterson, a fisheries biologist from here at Neah Bay, is going to run the boat for us, and he's going to run it about 10 days a month.
Well, fantastic. So there you go, folks. If you have a hankering for lingcod and rockfish, you ought to go to xlfishingcharters.com, book a trip. And if you want to go for those salmon off of Seiku, you still got a little bit of time. Either way, if you need a place to stay, the Inn at Neah Bay, run by Tom and his wife, is there to accommodate you. And the place to go for that as well is xlfishingcharters.com. Always great to talk to you, Tom.
Thank you, John.
Marine Area 5 near Seiku is open for a special Chinook salmon fishery, and XL Fishing Charters is ready to take you out for a great day on the water. One of the great things about this fishery is the fact that you get to take home not one, but 2 blackmouth a day, and Captain Tom Burlingame has the knowledge and experience to help you get that done. Need a place to stay? XL Fishing Charters can help you with that too, because they also operate the Inn at Neah Bay. Find out more about fishing with XL Fishing Charters at xlfishingcharters.com. That's EXCEL fishingcharters.com. Book your trip now.
From the Columbia River to Puget Sound, the Coastal Conservation Association in the Pacific Northwest works to conserve the fish we love and does so while protecting our heritage of sport fishing. To find out more, go to ccapnw.org. That's ccapnw.org.
Don't leave yet. We've got one more local shot of fishing and hunting to wrap up the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio.
It's time for another Max Minute.
Fish on!
And it's time to wish Max Lures a happy birthday. With us here to explain more about the 50th anniversary of Max Lure Company and the lure that started it all is Bob Loomis. Bob, great to have you back on the air.
Thank you, John.
1969, the lure that launched Max Lure Company, the Wedding Ring Spinner Classic. Everyone has seen this lure before. It's got the small Indiana blade, it's got beads, it's got that wedding ring and then tapered beads on the tail end, followed by a single hook. And there's been a lot of variations over the years, but that Wedding Ring Classic still catches tons of fish. When Vern McPherson invented this at the kitchen table in Riggins, was he inventing this as a trout lure to be trolled in lakes like most of us use it today?
I don't know if it was actually, if he invented it for a trout trolling application, but I do know that he used it in the creeks and streams originally. So he made something that he wanted to catch fish with regardless of where he used it.
That really blows my mind because I think everybody who uses a wedding ring automatically thinks of it as a lure that you troll with for trout. I've never even thought of putting a couple split shot on and casting it into a creek, but I'm sure it would work just fine.
It works fantastically well. It's still today a mainstay in the trout fishing, kokanee fishing world because of the fact of the high UV beads, the wetting ring band, the spinner blade itself. It creates an extremely, extremely enticing tool to catch fish.
Again, Mack's Lure, been around for 50 years. You've got hundreds of items that you've produced over the years and have in your catalog now. Where does the Wedding Ring Classic stand in terms of, is it still one of the most sold items that you have in your catalog?
Absolutely. It's one of the largest products sold. Now, it's been around a lot longer than most, but, with that said, it catches fish. When you've got something that works, why are you going to change?
I agree completely. And folks, if you don't have a whole bunch of Wedding Ring Classics in your tackle box for trout, you probably need to stock up because this is the season to have them. Look for them at just about any sporting goods store. And if for some reason you can't find them, just go online to maxlure.com. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
That's all for this week, but don't worry. We'll do it all again next Saturday morning from 7 to 8, right here on Seattle's Sports Radio 950 KJR.